everybody and welcome back to our channel. Today we will be reviewing our trip with EF College Break as well as giving you 10 tips to make your trip better. So if you've never heard of EF College Break, it's a travel company that takes people from the ages of 18 to 28 on different trips. They have a variety of trips that vary in length and in countries. They have a lot of trips to Europe, even some in Asia and South America, and they keep expanding each time. We went on the Highlights of Europe trip 2 years ago, and we went to 9 different countries in 25 days. So even though our trip was in 2015, we wanted to do this review for you because we do get a lot of people who ask us about it, and we'd like to share that with you because it really is a great company. So if you're interested in learning more, then keep on watching. Alright, so first of all, this video is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. We just really love this company. It really is an awesome way to get your toes in the water, get your feet wet if you've never traveled on your own before. They really make everything so easy for you. Starting with their payment plan option. So depending on how early on you sign up, you can get on their payment plan, in which they divide the total cost into how many months you have left until the trip. So it makes it really easy for you to pay, or you can just pay everything up front. That's up to you. Their website is really easy to navigate, and it breaks everything down for you, tells you how much you still owe, how long till the trip, etc., etc. One of the great things about this company is that everything is arranged for you, from flights to hotels to the trains, the ferries, everything is arranged for you. So you don't have to stress about the planning of the trips. Everything is laid out for you in an itinerary that they send you a couple weeks prior to your trip. Not only that, but a tour guide is with you at all times from the moment you land in the first city. So this person plans everything out. They take care of you, so you don't need to be nervous about being in this new world by yourself. But he's also not a chaperone, so you're free to do as you wish, but you know that there's somebody who's going to be telling you, be at the bus at this time, or we're going here tomorrow. All these things that this person plans and takes care of so that you can just focus on having a good time. I'm not sure how many tour guides EF has, but when we went, we had the most amazing tour guide. His name was Kiri. So if you are lucky enough to get on a trip with him, consider yourself blessed by the stars, because he is amazing. He's the best. Which I'm sure a lot of tour guides are really great, but we had Kiri and we love him. So when you choose the trip you want to go on, it gives you a basic itinerary of the cities you're going to, what kind of attractions are included, etc. But once you get closer to your departure date, you'll get an actual detailed full itinerary. And the cool thing is, it has a lot of planned, like sightseeing tours, entrances to some museums and whatnot, but you also get a lot of free time. Sometimes you get free time during the day, sometimes at night, and you're also not obligated to do these things. You can do as you wish, but you have that option of hanging out with the group, hanging out with the tour guide, and just going on these excursions that are already planned for you. Something else that's really awesome about taking a trip with EF is that it includes breakfast every day. So yes, you still have to pay for your lunch and dinner, but having a breakfast included is obviously great for your wallet. What's also really cool is that once you're with your group, you will find someone to hang out with. If you're traveling solo, you do not need to worry about that. A lot of people are scared to do it because they think they won't find a friend, but trust me, you will. We went together, so that was already easy for us because we were sisters on a trip, and there were actually a lot of siblings, but there were also so many people who just signed up and went for it, and everybody finds, I don't want to say click, but you will find someone that has similar interests as you that you can hang out with for the trip. So you'll have that group that, wants to try all the different bars or go out every night, and that's fine. And then you'll also have a group that's more interested in cultural things, museums, a group of people for everyone. Our group itself had 38 people, and it was a good mix of boys and girls, so we all found someone to hang out with, and we all became really close in the end. There are very few downsides that we can think of, if you would even call them that, but One of them is that you travel a lot by bus. So a lot of your time is spent on a bus, but they do a very good job of breaking it up and stopping at different cities or different monuments, so you don't feel like you're trapped in a bus for 10 hours at a time. For example, on our way to London, I believe, we stopped in the middle of our journey at Stratford-upon-Avon, which is Shakespeare's birthplace. You can stretch your legs, look around for a while, have lunch. Another time, traveling from one country to another, we stopped in Brussels in the middle of the day and got to have lunch there. So even though sometimes it's a lot of hours on the bus, they break it up and make it interesting for you. And the only other thing that we weren't crazy about is that most of the accommodations are tailored to students. So the majority of the places where you will be staying are hostels, which is not a bad thing. They pick very good hostels, but you will be in a room with 3 or 4 other people, sometimes maybe 5 or 6. But they do also book hotels for 2 people at a time. So it's kind of a varied mix between hostels and hotels, but they're still all very good quality places. And you do have the option, if you so desire, to pay a little extra to have your own private room for the entire trip, or maybe you and another person. You do have that option if you don't want to share with anyone else. Okay, so now let's get right into our 10 tips to help make your EF college break better. Number 1, once you get your full itinerary and the list of where you will be staying, check out all of the websites for the hostels and the hotels and find which ones have a full laundry service. Plan around that so that you can wash your clothes there. If you're taking a very long trip like we did, 25 days, it is extremely hard to pack for that. So make sure that you are planning to wash sometime in the middle of your trip. At least once. Speaking of the itinerary, number 2, once you have your full itinerary and plan for the duration of your trip, go ahead and research each city and find out if there's something that you specifically want to do in that city. Maybe it's a specific museum, an art gallery, a restaurant, a bar, something that you would love to do there during your free time, so that when you do get to your free time, you're not stuck there wondering where to go and what to do. So you want to know that in advance and have a few options. You won't get to do everything you want to in each city, but if you at least have a list in place, it'll make things a lot easier. Number 3, like I mentioned, they do include breakfast every day, so a good idea is to grab some extra fruit or non-perishable items. Sometimes they have stuff like granolas. Put them in your bag and take them with you in case you get hungry on the bus or while you're walking around. It's always good to have a little snack with you. Number 4, pick one object that you want to collect and start collecting it from the first city you arrive in. And you want to make it something that's not too bulky and not too heavy. So for example, what I started doing is collecting a postcard at every city or every country that I've traveled to. And then I just take it and I write on the back of it what my day was like, what I loved, just my experience. As soon as it's fresh in my mind, I write it on that postcard. I have a big collection of it now, which I love because you can put that in a photo album and you have those memories. Also, some of our friends on the trip decided to collect pins from each country and put them on their backpacks. That's also a really cute idea. That's something that I wish I would have done because I just went around buying magnets, keychains, just a bunch of stuff, and now I have a box of knickknacks that I have no use for. And it's literally just filled with memorabilia, but it's not something that I can really go through like photo albums. It's just a box under my bed. Okay, number 5. And I know you've heard of this many times, but don't overpack. We made that mistake. We brought so many things with us on the trip. And once we were here, we realized that shopping in Europe actually is amazing. And we didn't have any room in our suitcases to pack any of our new items. We cannot stress this enough. Trust us. Yes. Bring things that you're going to be able to reuse, because once you get to these stores, especially in Spain, you're going to want to go crazy buying stuff. We ended up having to buy an extra suitcase and pay for extra luggage on our flight back because there was no space left for all our new items. Just as a parenthesis on the packing, depending on when your trip is, you want to make sure that you pack a mixture for all seasons. For example, and this is specific to our trip, but our trip started at the very end of May and went into middle of June. And we traveled from the very top of Europe, so Ireland, and made our way down all the way to Spain. So that took us through 3 out of 4 seasons, okay? Yes. So you want to have a rain jacket, maybe a pair of boots, and then layer a lot of different things, so like light sweaters with a light jacket, maybe jeans, and then as you work your way down, it's going to keep getting warmer, and that's when you can pull out your summer dresses or your shorts and sandals. But obviously look at the weather ahead of time, keep in mind the places you're going to, and make sure you're covered in that department. Another very important one is to budget your money wisely. Have an idea of how much you want to spend every day. We spent about $70 every day, give or take, sometimes less, sometimes more. On the days when we did a lot of shopping, obviously more, but there were days when we spent close to nothing, maybe just lunch or something. Yeah, so just have an idea of how much you want to spend every day and budget for that. So think in advance of the type of trip or the type of experience you want. So for example, we know that we love shopping, so we budgeted a little more. Or if maybe you plan to maybe have a nice dinner in a couple of cities, plan for that ahead. But like we said, some days you'll pretty much only pay for a quick lunch and dinner. Other days you'll be in Florence at the leather market and you'll want to get wallets and all this stuff. So it's going to vary day to day, but have that amount set for each day so that you're not left with nothing at the end. Tip number 7, have a book, a journal, an iPad, something to keep you entertained during the long bus rides. We had both. Stefy forced me to buy a journal and journal on the trip, which now I'm thankful for because I have those memories to look back at while they were fresh in my mind. But I also had my iPad with me. I purchased some episodes of some shows that I like. I had some games on there, so I had a little bit of both to keep me entertained on the bus. Number 8. This is something I do on every single trip that I take, but you definitely want to do it for this one. Pack a little medicine kit tailored to your needs. So I like to be prepared for every scenario, but she's such a mom. So what I like to pack in mine is Band-Aids. You never know when you'll get a cut or a sore on your feet after all that walking. I like to pack the little Pepto-Bismol pills, some type of Dramamine or airborne or motion sickness type of medicine, because sometimes you'll be on ferries and you might not know how you'll do on those. Just, you want to have the basics, Tylenol, Advil. You want to be prepared in case of any type of emergency or unwell being. Alright, and tip number 9 is to try at least one local dish in every city. Believe me, you will regret it if you don't. You want to have an idea of what the local cuisine is like. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. And finally, number 10, and this is the most important one, keep an open mind. You're in a different country, a new continent most likely. You might not be used to the culture, the norms. You want to just keep an open mind, try to learn something new. Not only that, but sometimes things won't go exactly as they're planned. Shit happens, so just keep an open mind. Go with the flow, don't stress, just have fun, pretty much. If this is your first time abroad, you'll have a culture shock, or a few. Just, I don't know, talk to local people, see how they act. Like we said, try their food, learn a few words. Just try your best to immerse yourself in this new culture and this new world you're going to be experiencing. If you go into it with an open mind, we can assure you that it'll make it even that much better. So that's it for our review and our tips. Hopefully this helps you if you're interested in taking a trip with EF or if you've already scheduled a trip with them. We would not trade our EF college experience for anything in the world, honestly. It was the best thing we could have done, the best investment. Currently live in Spain, and I can trace back that inspiration to travel to this one trip. You learn so much on the trip, and things that we still use to this day. We didn't know how to ride the tube in London. We didn't know all these things, and we learned them on the trip. And it's honestly the best experience that you can have if it's your first time traveling without family or traveling on your own. It'll really open up your eyes to a whole new world and hopefully spark that travel bug in you, and it'll just keep you going. Not only that, but we met some of our best friends on this trip. We still to this day keep in contact and travel back and forth, visiting each other. And I know that I wouldn't have met them and they would not be in my life if it weren't for EF. After traveling together in such close quarters with these people, you're bound to make a new lifelong friend, which you can't put a price on that. So we hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. If you have any questions or comments on EF College Break, leave it in the comments down below. We'd be happy to answer any questions you have. We also have a playlist of our EF College experience. Now, don't judge us. This was way back when we didn't have a good camera or anything, so most of our footage is literally Snapchat footage. But if you want to get an idea of what our trip was like, go ahead and check out that playlist. And don't forget to subscribe before you leave. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.